Hi everybody, welcome back to our Jane Eyre read-along. Today we are going to read the second half of chapter 19, and you might remember in the earlier half of the chapter that Jane was meeting with the fortune teller and that it was all mysterious, but today we learn the true identity of the fortune teller, which might surprise you. So let's just start here with the second half of 19, and thanks so much for watching today. Your fortune is yet doubtful. When I examined your face, one trait contradicted another. Chance has meted you a measure of happiness, that I know. I knew it before you came here this evening. She has laid it carefully on one side for you. I saw her do it. It depends on yourself to stretch out your hand and take it up. But whether you will do so is the problem I study. Kneel again on the rug. Don't keep me long, the fire scorches me. I knelt. She did not stoop towards me, but only gazed, leaning back in her chair. She began muttering. The flame flickers in the eye shines like dew. It looks soft and full of feeling. It smiles at my jargon. It is susceptible. Impression follows impression through its clear sphere. Where it ceases to smile, it is sad. An unconscious lassitude weighs on the lid. That signifies melancholy resulting from loneliness. It turns from me. It will not suffer further scrutiny. It seems to deny, by a mocking glance, the truth of the discoveries I have already made. To disown the charge both of sensibility and chagrin, its pride and reserve only confirm me in my opinion. The eye is favorable. As to the mouth, it delights at times in laughter. It is disposed to impart all that the brain conceives, though I dare say it would be silent on much the heart experiences. Mobile and flexible, it was never intended to be compressed in the eternal silence of solitude. It is a mouth which would speak much and smile often, and have human affection for its interlocutor. The feature is too precipitous. I see no enemy to a fortunate issue but in the brow, and that brow professes to say, I can live alone, if self-respect and circumstances require me to do so. I need not sell my soul to buy bliss, inward treasure born with me, which can keep me alive if all extraneous delights should be withheld, or offered only at a price I cannot afford to give. The forehead declares reason sits firm and holds the reins, and she will not let the feelings burst away and hurry to her wild chasms. The passions may rage furiously, like true heathens, as they are, and the desires may imagine all sorts of vain things, but judgment shall still have the last word in every argument, and the casting vote in every decision. Strong wind, earthquake shock, and fire may pass by, but I shall follow the guiding of that still, small voice which interprets the dictates of conscience. Well said, forehead. Your declaration shall be respected. I have formed my plans, right plans I deem them, and in them I have attended to the claims of conscience, the counsels of reason. I know how soon youth would fade and bloom perish if, in the cup of bliss offered, but one drag of shame or one flavor of remorse were detected, and I do not want sacrifice, sorrow, dissolution. Such is not my taste. I wish to foster, not to blight, to earn gratitude, not to wring tears of blood, no, nor of brine. My harvest must be in smiles, in endearments, in sweet. That will do. I think I rave in a kind of exquisite delirium. I should wish now to protract this moment ad infinitum, but I dare not. So far I have governed myself thoroughly. I have acted as I inwardly swore I would act, but further may try me beyond my strength. Rise, Miss Eyre, leave me. The play is played out. Where was I? Did I wake or sleep? Had I been dreaming? Did I dream still? The old woman's voice had changed. Her accent, her gesture, were all familiar to me as my own face in a glass, as the speech of my own tongue. I got up, but I did not go. I looked, I stirred the fire, and I looked again. But she drew her bonnet and her bandage closer about her face, and again beckoned me to depart. The flame illuminated her hand stretched out. roused now, and on the alert for discoveries. I at once noticed that hand. It was no more withered limb of eld than my own. It was a rounded, supple member with smooth fingers symmetrically turned. A broad ring flashed on the little finger, and stooping forward, I looked at it, and saw a gem I had seen 100 times before. And I looked at the face, which was no longer turned from me. On the contrary, the bonnet was doffed, the bandage displaced, the head advanced. "Well, Jane, do you know me?" asked the familiar voice. "Only take off the red cloak, sir, and then— But the string is in a knot. Help me." "Break it, sir." "There, then, off ye lendings." And Mr. Rochester stepped out of his disguise. Can you believe Mr. Rochester was the fortune-teller? That's so crazy. "Now, sir, what a strange idea! But well carried out, eh? Don't you think so? With the ladies you must have managed well. But not with you? You did not act the character of a gypsy with me. What character did I act? My own? No, some unaccountable one. In short, I believe you've been trying to draw me out, or in. You have been talking nonsense to make me talk nonsense. It is scarcely fair, sir. Do you forgive me, Jane? I cannot tell till I have thought it all over. If, on reflection, I find I have fallen into no great absurdity, I shall try to forgive you, but it was not right. Oh, you have been very correct, very careful, very sensible. I reflected, and thought on the whole I had. It was a comfort, but, indeed, I had been on my guard almost from the beginning of the interview. Something of masquerade I suspected. I knew gypsies and fortune-tellers did not express themselves as the seeming old woman had expressed herself. Besides, I had noted her feigned voice, her anxiety to conceal her features. But my mind had been running on Grace Poole, that living enigma, that mystery of mysteries as I considered her. I had never thought of Mr. Rochester. "Well," said he, "what are you musing about? What does that grave smile signify?" "Wonder and self-congratulation, sir. I have your permission to retire now, I suppose." "No, stay a moment, and tell me what the people in the drawing-room yonder are doing." "Discussing the gypsy, I dare say." "Sit down. Let me hear what they said about me." "I'd better not stay long, sir. It must be near 11 o'clock. Oh, are you aware, Mr. Rochester, that a stranger has arrived here since you left this morning?" "A stranger? No. Who can it be?" "I expected no one. Is he gone?" "No. He said he had known you long, and that he could take the liberty of installing himself here till you returned." "The devil he did! Did he give his name?" "His name is Mason, sir, and he comes from the West Indies, from Spanish Town in Jamaica, I think." Mr. Rochester was standing near me. He had taken my hand, as if to lead me to a chair. As I spoke, he gave my wrist a convulsive grip. The smile on his lips froze. Apparently, a spasm caught his breath. "Mason! The West Indies?" he said, in a tone one might fancy a speaking automaton to announce in single words. "Mason! The West Indies!" he reiterated, and he went over the syllables 3 times, growing, in the intervals of speaking, whiter than ashes. He hardly seemed to know what he was doing. "Do you feel ill, sir?" I inquired. "Jane, I've got a blow, Jane," he staggered. "Oh, lean on me, sir. Jane, you offered me your shoulder once before. Let me have it now." "Yes, sir, yes, and my arm." He sat down and made me sit beside him, holding my hand in both his own. He chafed it, gazing on me at the same time with a most troubled and dreary look. "My little friend," said he, "I wish I were in a quiet island with only you, and trouble and danger and hideous recollections removed from me." "Can I help you, sir? I'd give my life to serve you." "Jane, if aid is wanted, I'll seek it at your hands. I promise you that." "Thank you, sir. Tell me what to do. I'll try, at least, to do it." "Fetch me now, Jane, a glass of wine from the dining-room. They will be at supper there. And tell me if Mason is with them, and what he is doing." I went. I found all the party in the dining-room at supper, as Mr. Rochester had said. They were not seated at table. The supper was arranged on the sideboard. Each had taken what he chose, and they stood about here and there in groups. their plates and glasses in their hands. Everyone seemed in high glee. Laughter and conversation were general and animated. Mr. Mason stood near the fire, talking to Colonel and Mrs. Dent, and appeared as merry as any of them. I filled a wine-glass. I saw Miss Ingram watch me frowningly as I did so. She thought I was taking a liberty, I dare say. And I returned to the library. Mr. Rochester's extreme pallor had disappeared, and he looked once more firm and stern. He took the glass from my hand. "Here's to your health, ministrant spirit," he said, and swallowed the contents and returned it to me. "What are they doing, Jane?" "Laughing and talking, sir." "They don't look grave and mysterious, as if they had heard something strange?" "Not at all. They are full of jests and gaiety." "And Mason?" "He was laughing too." "If all these people came in a body and spat at me, what would you do, Jane?" "Turn them out of the room, sir, if I could." He half smiled. "But if I were then to go to them, and they only looked at me coldly, and whispered sneeringly among each other, and then dropped off and left me one by one, what then? Would you go with them?" "I rather think not, sir. I should have more pleasure in staying with you." "To comfort me?" "Yes, sir, to comfort you as well I could." "And if they laid you under a ban for adhering to me?" "I probably should not know nothing about their ban, and if I did, I should care nothing about it." "Then you could dare censure for my sake?" "I could dare it for the sake of any friend who deserved my adherence, as you, I am sure, do. Go back now into the room and step quietly up to Mason, and whisper in his ear that Mr. Rochester is come and wishes to see him. Show him in here, and then leave me." "Yes, sir." I did his behest. The company all stared at me as I passed straight among them. I sought Mr. Mason, delivered the message, and preceded him from the room. I ushered him into the library, and then I went upstairs. At a late hour, after I had been in bed some time, I heard the visitors repair to their chambers. I distinguished Mr. Rochester's voice, and heard him say, "This way, Mason, this is your room." He spoke cheerfully. The gay tones set my heart at ease. I was soon asleep. So that's the end of chapter 19. It always is amazing to me that Rochester is the gypsy or fortune teller, but they never speak of it ever again, and it's just such an unusual scene. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments, and join me again tomorrow for chapter 20, and we'll see what Jane and Mr. Rochester are up to. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, stay safe.